Welcome everyone to this Professional CPD Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely crucial, the intersection where modern classroom pedagogy meets global sustainability. If you're a teacher, a school leader, or a trainer who really wants to build responsible learners for a sustainable future, well, you are in exactly the right place. So, let's jump right in.
Think about the sheer scale of the potential sitting right there in our classrooms. As our source material points out, the Earth contains more than 8 billion humans. That means we have more than 8 billion brains to think and sincere hearts to understand and care. It's just a profound idea, right? It perfectly captures this massive potential we have for global collaboration. Every single student you teach is one of those brains and hearts, and they are fully capable of cooperating to literally improve the Earth for everyone.
Here's a quick look at our educator's blueprint for today. First, defining cooperative learning. 2. The global SDGs. 3. Connecting CL and those SDGs. 4. Practical classroom strategies. And finally, number 5, empowering the future.
Okay, starting with Section 1, defining cooperative learning. Let's look at the foundational theory.
So, cooperative learning, or CL, is way more than just tossing a few students into a group and, crossing your fingers for the best. It's actually a very deliberate, highly structured teaching method. It consists of specific concepts and practical strategies to help students work together so they can learn and achieve shared goals. It's really about structuring that collaboration so that academic achievement and critical life skills happen at the exact same time.
Now, this theory breaks down into 3 main principles. First up is positive interdependence. Basically, what helps one group member helps all, and what harms one harms all. It's that ultimate sink or swim together mindset. Second is individual accountability, meaning everyone feels a need to do their fair share. You really can't just hide in the back of the group and let others do the work. And third, equal opportunity. This just ensures absolutely everyone gets a chance to participate, sharing both their knowledge and their feelings, which is what really drives true classroom equity.
Cooperative learning is honestly an incredible engine for building essential communication skills. When students collaborate face-to-face in a structured way, they aren't just memorizing facts for a test. They're actually building leadership skills, they're developing genuine empathy, and they're learning how to respect diverse viewpoints. Ultimately, we're preparing them for real-world collaboration.
Right, moving to Section 2, the global SDGs. This is our blueprint for the world.
So, you're probably familiar with these, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations. You can think of these goals as a flexible map. It's this massive blueprint aimed at seeking continuous improvement across people, our planet, global peace, and prosperity. And as educators, our schools play a major role in helping students understand and actively tackle these giant global challenges.
Now, while all 17 goals are obviously vital, our source text highlights a few that link especially well to what we do every day. We've got SDG 4, quality education, SDG 5, gender equality, SDG 10, reduced inequalities, SDG 13, climate action, and SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. These specific goals serve as just perfect launching pads for classroom discussions. They help build deep social awareness right alongside your standard academic curriculum. Let's head into Section 3, connecting CL and those SDGs, exploring that synergy in education.
This right here represents the core philosophy of our explainer today. It's this beautiful transition from micro-collaboration to macro-collaboration. First, we start with cooperation as a value within our small classroom groups. That's the micro level, where we're nurturing that positive interdependence among peers. But the real magic happens when we expand that exact same feeling of cooperation outward, to the town, the country, and eventually the entire world, to tackle the massive macro challenges of the SDGs. Those local classroom interactions, they are fundamentally training your students for global citizenship.
So, how exactly does this work? Well, cooperative learning helps students respect diversity and actively reduce inequalities because it requires them to work closely with peers they might not normally hang out with. It allows them to safely engage in what we call fuzzy problem solving. Those complex, open-ended issues where there isn't just one simple right answer. By encouraging maximum peer interactions, we develop deep empathy. We are quite literally creating the inclusive, critical thinking leaders who are absolutely essential for a sustainable future.
All right, Section 4, practical classroom strategies. Let's get into some actionable takeaways you can use tomorrow.
We've got to start with movement. Students, like all of us really, need to move their bodies to stay engaged. As any teacher knows for a fact, sitting statically at a desk all day doesn't exactly spark high-energy collaboration. So our source introduces a really brilliant technique to get the blood flowing while learning.
This is called the 7S technique, and it's a fantastic way to scaffold peer interaction. You have your students stand, then slide their chairs in to make space, stretch, and take a sip of water. And by the way, that sip of water, it's a great little moment to highlight resource conservation, which ties right back into the SDGs. Then they stir, just moving around the room, stop when you give the signal, and speak to a new partner about the specific topic at hand. It's simple, it's physical, and I promise you, it completely refreshes the classroom dynamic.
Another really powerful strategy is the cooperative debate framework. Unlike traditional debates that are all about aggressive competition and winning at all costs, this model emphasizes actual learning and polite disagreement. It actively promotes the CL principle of group autonomy, which requires students to gather their own research and rely on one another. A perfect example of this is having students co-create their own classroom guidelines. To succeed, they have to master the key communication skill of paraphrasing and deeply respecting differing viewpoints.
When you step back and allow students to debate and co-create their own classroom rules, you aren't just managing behavior. No, you are directly giving them hands-on experience with the vital concepts of SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Think of it like this. The classroom itself becomes a micro-institution where they get to practice fairness, justice, and democratic participation every single day.
Next up is the classic jigsaw technique. Here, students start in home groups where each member receives one unique piece of information, literally like a puzzle piece. Then, they break out into expert groups with peers from other groups who have the exact same piece, and they work together to master that specific content. Finally, they return home, and these newly minted experts teach their original group, synthesizing everything together. The crucial takeaway here is that this is the ultimate example of resource-positive interdependence. No one can succeed, and the puzzle cannot be completed unless every single student shares their voice. It is just pure, inclusive teamwork.
And that brings us to Section 5, Empowering the Future. Let's bring this all together.
This ripple effect perfectly symbolizes the concept of the circle of compassion detailed in our source text. Often, we naturally only feel compassion for those immediately close to us. But by using cooperative learning, we expand those ripples. We expand our care from our immediate peers in the classroom out to the wider local community and eventually to the entire global population. We're teaching students that their collaborative actions ripple outward in a very real way.
A quote from over 50 years ago speaks so directly and profoundly to our modern global goals. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We are tied together in the single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, and whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." This beautifully ties our entire pedagogical journey back to our shared global destiny. When students cooperate in your classroom, they are actively practicing this exact mutuality. Which brings us to our final thought. The pedagogical tools, they're right here in front of you. Cooperative learning isn't just a convenient way to manage group work. It is a proven way to change the world, one collaborative classroom at a time. So my question to you is this: how will you use cooperative learning to help your students improve the earth for everyone? Remember, small collaborative actions today really do create a sustainable tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer presented by Ithiar Learning Hub. I'll see you next time as we continue to learn together and grow together.